This design calls for a cobbled edge to the driveway, so if we highlight the edge of the driveway, you can see that it is a polyline. We can determine that from the properties box on the left. So we could use, let's unselect all, we could use the modify and offset command to create that border for the cobbled edge. The object to offset is the polyline that we've just looked at, and now to specify a point on the inside, we can right click and just say, well, we could set a distance value of whatever value we think is reasonable. If we'll leave it at 1 foot for the moment. So we then click on the side that we want the offset to be, and so the cobbled edge could go through there. We could actually undo that, and that looks, a foot seems a little bit large to me, so let's repeat and modify and offset. We pick the line again, I right click and right click again and go, to the distance here and type 0.75, and now we can indicate the side we want it on the inside. So there's the cobbled edge, and we may or may not want to change the position of the basketball ring here. If I select the ring, you might see that it's not as oriented in the way that we want it to. We need to exit from the offset. The orientation may not be quite what we want. So if we zoom in, we can spin the basketball ring in any direction that we want and line it up. I think, in fact, it was pretty good. So there's the basketball ring in place. You might or might not want to move it in to sit on the cobble, but I think it will be better mounted on a pad in the garden proper. The other thing to note in the driveway area is that we might want to show some hatching in there to indicate that it's going to be paved. Let's imagine it's being paved with some crushed rock. So what we would do is draw and select hatch. What I've done is to draw a polyline around an area underneath the car, and you'll see the effect of that in a moment. So we select the object to hatch, which is that one, then right click, up pops the hatch box. I've got a grass hatch pattern selected at the moment, but we want something like rocks, or use dots, architectural concrete might work, random stone pattern. Now there's a snapshot of the pattern, the scale here of 10 and density 0.2, that's going to be a little low, so if we change it to 2, that may be close to what we want. It's always a matter of experimentation. So there's the hatch pattern gone in, and what I can do then is remove the polyline that delineated that area, and I might want to then bring the motor vehicle symbol on top, but you know how to do that. So we have another zone in the driveway here that we want to hatch. So if I right click, I can select the last command, which I thought was hatch, but it was in fact erase. So we draw, hatch, pick the hatch pattern area. We can live with the same density and OK that, and then again remove the polyline that showed it. So now we have a sort of just a generalized indication that that area is going to be hatched, and that should work reasonably well. It's better than, even though your CAD program can hatch over a large area, it's better to handle it in that way. We could just do the modify and offset again, pick that line and offset, and there's some cobbled edging around the driveway. So our design is taking place. I've got another couple of polylines here with some grass hatching, so let's finish that off. We'll exit from our offset, draw, hatch, pick the two entities this time, up pops the box. We want a grass pattern, and we want a scale that will settle on around about 2. So if we push this to maybe 50 or thereabouts, we'll get, there's 15. We'll see what that gives us. And that gives us a hatch pattern that's far too spread out. So let's bring it back from 15 to say 5. And that looks reasonable. Let's remove the border there. Whoops, I'll undo that because I had the hatching itself selected. So we only want to remove the border, and we're done. So we've now got some hatching. Now when I look at that, I can still pick the hatching and move it across like so. That showed you then the benefit of just hatching a single area at a time. It gives you more flexibility in moving things around. So our design is taking shape.